So consider the operation of single phase half wave control rectifier with the RE load, that is battery load. Now voltage across source is Vs, which is equal to Vm sin omega t, and voltage across battery is Ve, and voltage across the load is equal to voltage across resistor plus the battery voltage. Voltage across resistor is equal to I naught into R, so and plus E. V is battery voltage. Now you can see here, so from 0 to theta 1, so 0 to omega t ranging from 0 to theta 1, we can see that the source voltage is less than the battery voltage. Thyristor is reverse biased. You can see that thyristor voltage Vt is equal to Vs minus V naught, and during the beginning, so starting period, current through resistor is 0, so voltage across load is same as battery voltage. So Vs minus E is the voltage, and that is negative due to which this resistor is reverse biased as shown here. So it is reverse biased. Okay, that is reverse biased, so diode thyristor won't conduct, and under that particular condition the load voltage is same as the battery voltage because Vr is equal to 0. So this way, and current through the resistor or current through load is 0, which is same as current through source and current through thyristor. Voltage across, so voltage across the thyristor would be same as Vs minus V naught, Vs minus V naught. So till omega t equal to theta 1, the voltage across thyristor would be negative, it is reverse biased. At omega t is equal to theta 1, this source voltage is becoming more than the battery voltage, so thyristor would be driven into the forward bias, but still there is no gate pulse applied. Gate pulse is applied somewhere at omega t is equal to alpha. So even though it is forward bias, it won't conduct as there is no control signal given, there is no gate current supplied. So still it is going to be in off state, that is forward blocking state. So under this condition, current through load so is 0. So in fact 0 omega t ranging from 0 to alpha, current through the load is 0, and voltage across the load is same as the battery voltage, and voltage across the resistor would follow this relation, that is Vs minus V naught during that particular condition. Now at omega t is equal to alpha, firing is given, that is gate current is supplied, and already the resistor was forward bias, so it would be turned on, so the resistor would be driven into the on state, and whenever it is on, voltage across the resistor becomes 0, so source voltage would directly appear across the load. Source voltage would be same as the load voltage, and current starts flowing from this instant onwards. However, so this state would continue till this thyristor is reverse bias. Now if you see, there is no inductance here, so simply we have resistance. So as long as this battery source voltage is more than the battery voltage, so thyristor would be forward biased and it is fired, so it would conduct. And we can see that at omega t is equal to pi minus theta 1 at this particular instant, source voltage is becoming equal to the battery voltage, and if you advance further, so you can see that source voltage is falling below battery voltage. So this thyristor voltage across thyristor would fall below 0, it would be reverse biased, so next switching state, so that is this conducting state of the thyristor, that would takes place between these two angles alpha and pi minus theta. During that period, voltage across load is same as the source voltage, and current through load would be same as Vs minus E by resistance value, so where Vs is equal to Vm into sin omega t, so that would be this way. And at omega t is equal to pi minus theta 1, source voltage and the battery voltage both are going to be equal, so due to which so this current would become 0, that is at omega t is equal to pi minus theta 1. So during this interval alpha to pi minus theta 1, so thyristor is conducting, voltage across thyristor would be same as on state drop, which is almost 0 considering, so thyristor is ideal. Now from pi minus theta 1 to 2 pi, so from this this angle to so 2 pi, so for remaining cycle we can see that thyristor is reverse biased and current has been already made 0, current is made 0 and thyristor voltage would be reversed. So commutation process, I mean turn off process would begin at this particular instant, and thyristor would be reverse biased during this entire interval phi minus theta 1 to 2 pi, that is this way, and current of thyristor would become 0. Voltage across the load, because there is no current flowing through resistor, so that is same as the battery voltage. Resistance voltage is 0, so voltage, load voltage is same as battery voltage. So this is the operation of the half wave control rectifier with RE load for one cycle, that is 0 to 2 pi. And same kind of operation, so similar kind of wave case would be seen for next cycle also, similar kind of operation and similar kind of wave shapes for V0, I0 and Vt and so on. So we can see that so same waveforms would repeat, and if you observe carefully, so this thyristor is reverse biased from pi minus theta 1 to 2 pi plus theta 1, that is at this instant. So look at this, so this instant that is occurring at pi minus theta 1, so from this instant to 2 pi plus theta 1, so this instant, so thyristor is reverse biased, so thyristor won't conduct, and this period is known as commutation period or turn off period. So corresponding angle is equal to 2 pi plus theta 1 minus of pi minus theta 1, which is equal to pi plus 2 theta 1. So that is the angle during which thyristor is reverse biased. So and that is corresponding to circuit turn off time. So coming to the thyristor conduction period, that is given by gamma t, which is equal to this angle, that is that occur between pi minus theta 1 to alpha. So pi minus theta 1 to alpha. So this is the conduction period of the thyristor. Peak inverse voltage. So peak inverse voltage is can be obtained from this expression. You can see the thyristor is reverse biased during this period, and corresponding voltage expression across thyristor during reverse bias, that is equal to Vm sin omega t minus E, and its peak value occurs somewhere at 3 pi by 2, which value is equal to minus Vm minus E, where minus E is the battery voltage. And peak inverse voltage, you can see this magnitude, that is equal to Vm plus E. So peak inverse voltage is equal to Vm plus E, and the circuit turn off angle, so that is equal to pi plus 2 theta 1, and circuit turn off time would be equal to pi plus 2 theta 1 by omega, where omega is a frequency of the supply in radians per second. So this is the operation of single wave half wave control rectifier with the battery load, that is RE load. One has to compute the average value of voltage, average value of current, RMS value of voltage, RMS value of current, both input side and output side, in order to evaluate performance, in order to find out the performance parameters input side and output side. So it is essential. So now in order to do so, one has to find out what is V0 expression for entire cycle and I0 expression for entire cycle ranging from 0 to 2 pi, and then substituting them in the formula of the average voltage, average current, RMS voltage and RMS current. So you can get the exact value of average and RMS values for output voltage and output currents. So this way one can find out. Okay, substitute V0 here, substitute I0 here, substitute V0 here and substitute I0 here, you will get the RMS value of voltage and current respectively output side. And one of the important input performance parameter is input power factor, that is equal to average power supplied by the source by input VA. And here average power supplied by the source is same as average power taken by the load, consumed by the load. And there are two elements which can take power, one is the resistor, other one is battery, and power taken by resistor is equal to RMS value of current through resistor square into resistance value, and power absorbed or consumed by the battery is equal to battery voltage into average current flowing through the battery, that is I0. And input VA, that is equal to Vs into Is, RMS value of input voltage into RMS value of input current, and in this case RMS value of input current is same as RMS value of output current, because the current, source current is same as the load current all the time, because source and load are connected through the thyristor. So that way one can find out input power factor. So coming to the next kind of load, that is RLE load. So in case of RLE load, so this inductor is present in the load, so this would increase the conduction period of the thyristor as well as the load. So let us see how the operation would be for this case. Now we can see that the thyristor is fired at omega t is equal to alpha. So till that time, so there is no firing, so thyristor would be in off state. Now you can see omega t from 0 to theta 1, so voltage across thyristor is negative, it is reverse biased, and at omega t is equal to theta 1 it is forward biased, but there is no firing angle, there is no gate pulse supplied. So till omega t is equal to alpha, so till omega to alpha, even though the voltage across thyristor is positive and it is forward biased, it won't conduct, and if that won't conduct, then so voltage across the passive elements, because current is 0, so voltage across the passive elements, that is R and L, is going to be 0. So overall voltage across the load would be same as the battery voltage, that is E. And current, anyway, current is 0 because thyristor is not conducting, there is no current flowing through the thyristor as well as the source and then load. Now at omega t is equal to alpha, thyristor is fired, so already it was forward biased, so it would start conducting from omega t is equal to alpha onwards. And as I mentioned, like because we have inductance, so the conduction period would extend beyond pi minus theta 1. Previously for RE load, so thyristor would conduct from alpha to pi minus theta 1, but here it would extend further because of presence of this inductance. Now and that extinction angle, let me take it as beta. Beyond pi I will take the firing angle, I will take the conduction angle, that is beta. So conduction angle would extend, conduction period would extend beyond pi and until omega t is equal to beta, where beta range is from pi to 2 pi, so between pi and 2 pi. So now during this period, because the thyristor is conducting, voltage across thyristor would be 0 and source voltage would be same as the load voltage, is shown here. So this is the load voltage which is same as the source voltage from alpha to beta, and load current, so it would increase gradually this way, and it reach to peak value somewhere here, and then it would decrease. So it would be some kind of smooth curve, load current curve would be seen here. So that is given by this blue line, and this mathematical expression for this load current can be obtained by solving this particular equation. So Vm sin omega t equal to R into I naught plus L into di by di naught by dt plus E, and this is first order differential equation which requires require initial and final condition. And here initial condition, that is at omega t is equal to alpha, current is 0, and final condition at omega t is equal to beta, also current 0. So using these two conditions you can solve this equation and you can obtain the mathematical expression for I naught, and draw it, you will get this kind of smooth curve. During this period thyristor is conducting, so voltage across thyristor would become, anyway, that is going to be 0. Now and beta onwards, so at beta current through thyristor became 0, and voltage across, if that is 0, then this voltage across passive elements would become 0 and load voltage become equal to E. And you can see at this point of time already Vs is fell below the battery voltage, so voltage across thyristor, that is Vt, which is equal to Vs minus E, would become negative. So thyristor would be, current was already being made 0 and reverse voltage would appear across thyristor. So commutation process or turn off process would be initiated at this particular angle, that is omega t is equal to beta. And at this particular angle, you can see that voltage across load would once again reach to the battery voltage. That becomes once again battery voltage as load current is 0. And load current, anyway, that is 0, and coming to the voltage across thyristor, that would be same as Vs minus E, that is shown by this particular curve, this blue curve. So this is the operation of the half wave control rectifier with RLE load for half cycle, that is for a full cycle, that is 0 to 2 pi. And for next cycle, that is from 2 pi to 4 pi, so you would see similar kind of wave shape for voltage, current and thyristor voltage, and same thing would repeat for every cycle in fact. Now important parameters, so first one is conduction angle of the thyristor, that is same as beta minus alpha. During this period thyristor is conducting, so thyristor conduction period is beta minus alpha. And circuit turn on time, you can see after thyristor current became 0, so we are applying reverse voltage is applied at beta till 2 pi plus theta 1. So this duration, so during which reverse voltage is applied, so that is corresponding to circuit turn off period, and in terms of angle, that is equal to omega into Tc, which is equal to 2 pi plus theta 1. So now here it is 2 pi plus theta 1. So 2 pi plus theta 1 minus beta is going to be omega into Tc, and circuit turn off time, you can find out that that value, and that value would be equal to 2 pi plus theta 1 minus beta by omega, where omega is the angular frequency of the supply voltage in radians per second. Now coming to the next important parameter, that is peak inverse voltage. So that can be obtained from this expression. So voltage across thyristor during the reverse bias condition, so that is equal to Vm sin omega t minus e, and it would have negative peak that occurs at 3 pi by 2, and that value is going to be minus Vm minus e, and this length, if you see, the peak inverse voltage would be Vm plus e, where Vm is peak value of source voltage and e is the battery voltage. So that way one can find out peak inverse voltage also. And in order to evaluate the performance of the rectifier, again, so we should know the average value of output voltage and output current, and RMS value of output voltage and output current, and of course for input side also you should know the average value and RMS value of input voltages and input current. And in order to find out, of course, for RMS value of input voltage, you know that is equal to Vm by root 2, and average value would be 0. And coming to output side, so output voltage would follow this mathematical expression, or else you can use graphical method also. So you can find out area under the curve from 0 to 2 pi, and you can divide it by 2 pi, so that you will get the average value, so this way. And similarly RMS value also you can find out, so you can square this waveform from 0 to 2 pi, and then you can take this take the area under that curve and you can divide it by 2 pi, and then so apply square root, you will get the RMS value. So similarly you can also find the mathematical expression for I naught, and how do you find? That is this way, I naught would be 0, so for this period, that is from 0 to alpha, and then and beta to 2 pi, and during this interval alpha to beta, so the thyristor would conduct and current through the load is same as thyristor current, that would be this way. And mathematical expression for this current can be obtained by solving this equation with the initial condition that that is at alpha I naught 0, and final condition, that is I naught at beta is equal to 0. And once you get the mathematical expression for I naught, so use that to find the average value of the load current and RMS value of load current. And once you know average and RMS values, you can find out input power factor, one of the important input performance parameter. So using this formula, that is average power supplied by the source divided by input VA, which is equal to, once again, average power supplied by source is again equal to average power received by the load. Now in this case, the load power taken by the load is same as power taken by the resistor plus power taken by the battery. Inductor, so it would not take any power, so average power taken by the inductor would be 0 throughout the one cycle. So the average power taken by the resistor would be I naught R whole square into R, that is RMS value of current to resistor square into resistance, and battery power, that is equal to E into I naught. So this is the total power taken by the load. By the input VA, that is equal to VS into IS. VS is the RMS value of supply voltage, that is Vm by root 2, and IS is same as the source current RMS value, which is same as the load current RMS value, because for this particular circuit source current is same as the load current all the time. So that way you can find out the input power factor. And while finding average value and RMS values of the voltages and current output side, so this may be useful. So this may be find useful. Average voltage across inductor must be 0, and average power consumed by load also is going to be 0. Now the next one, so single phase half wave control rectifier with the RLE load with freewheeling diode. So with freewheeling diode, so freewheeling diode also consider here. And this anyway, I give you a brief idea, and I wanted to give this as a homework to you. So draw the waveform for voltage, supply voltage, output voltage, I0 load current, source current, freewheeling diode current, voltage across the thyristor, voltage across freewheeling diode, and so on. So sketch the waveforms. And here the hint is, assume the value of inductance is very large so that current through the load is continuous. Now in this case, if load is very large, then current never reaches to 0, and during the negative cycle, so there won't be a possibility of negative voltage appear across the load, because here freewheeling diode, once this voltage try to become the negative, freewheeling diode would be forward biased and it would be short circuited. Inductor current would flow this way, so that voltage across freewheeling diode as well as the load would be 0. So that way there is no scope for the voltage to become negative. So freewheeling diode improves the voltage profile and also power factor, because in previous case, without this freewheeling diode there is negative voltage and positive current, during which power from the load is sent back to the source. So net power consumed by load was less without freewheeling diode. Now with freewheeling diode, automatically, so there is no power. So you can observe that there is no power sent back to the source because there is no possibility of negative current. Current through load is always positive, and voltage across load also going to be always positive or 0. So there is no question of sending back power to the source. So average or net power consumed by load would be more for same input volt amperes. So input power factor would be more. Now in order to do this homework, so this take this fact, so 0 to alpha freewheeling diode conducts, because load current is continuous. If this is not conducting, so so this must conduct, freewheeling diode must conduct, current would flow through the freewheeling diode and voltage across load becomes 0. And how do you find out the load current expression? You can solve this equation and you can find the load current expression. And I0 is equal to IFD in this case, and IS and ID both are equal to 0. There is no source current and there is no thyristor current. Now from alpha to pi, thyristor, so firing angle would be given, so and thyristor starts conducting, and that in this particular case the voltage across load would be same as source voltage, which is same as voltage across the freewheeling diode in reverse bias. So freewheeling diode is going to be reverse biased. So I'm sorry, here it is not minus Vs, it is plus Vs. So make this correction. So thyristor voltage would be in this particular case, thyristor voltage would be sorry, it is 0. Okay, this must be 0. So let me make so these corrections. Okay, anyway, I will make the corrections and I will share the PPT. Now coming to the next period, that is from pi to 2 pi plus alpha, freewheeling diode conducts and voltage across freewheeling diode becomes 0, which is same as load voltage, and voltage across thyristor would be same as voltage across the so voltage across the source. Now during this period also you can compute the I0 using by solving this equation. I0 is equal to IFD, IS and ID both are going to be 0. So using this particular mathematical expression, so using this information, one can try to sketch all these waveforms. So I request you to sketch these waveforms by your own. Disadvantages of half wave rectifiers are as follows. Supply current is going to be unidirectional in the form of DC pulses, so which are going to introduce DC component into the supply lines, and this leads to saturation of supply transformer. So always DC component is going, so that leads to supply transformer saturation. And as harmonics are introduced due to this DC pulses seen source side, and that harmonics are going to affect the performance of the loads that are connected to supply, the other loads that are connected to supply. So these are the disadvantages of off-wave rectifiers. So with this, so I conclude this particular session, and we have discussed off-wave rectifiers with the R load, RL load, RLE load, with and without triggering diode also. So thank you, and if you have any doubts, so please kindly let me know. You can reach me through the mail that is given in the description. Thank you.